Okay guys, so in this tutorial I am going to show you quickly just how to start to do piping. And again, piping can be somewhat tricky. So it's better, like I can just give you a brief general overview, and then in class I can show you if there's certain issues that you may be having to get stuff to work. Um, so again, this was my project that I did um, here for when I took this course last year. So you can start to see I have some of the piping done. My file got corrupted, so this is kind of like the work in progress file. Um, and then, as I mentioned in the last video tutorial G, how I had you guys download the filters, all these filters. So when I go to, and this you can see how I kind of half tone the building, so I can see, see the piping and stuff running through it. This was for display purpose, obviously. When you kind of want to probably see the building and inside the building when you run your piping, because you got to run it through the structure and everything like that. So this was more for like a display view, but it'll be easy enough for me to show you guys. But you always got to remember that you got to make sure you're running through the structure and stuff. So actually, if I go to a regular 3D view, you can see how I have my structure turned on. So I'm making sure I run through everything structural. All my ductwork and piping is running through the structure and everything like that. So you want to make sure that um, there's views where you're in a view that you can see all that stuff going on. So you make sure everything's running through it fine, and you're not messing. You're not running through a structure or anything like that. But so if I go back to just the plumbing one, so as I was saying for the filters. So if I go to visibility and graphics and I go to my filters tab, and I added all these in, going by add, and then it gives you the list. You can see here I turned off all the mechanical equipment based on the system. So what this does is, this is the cold water system. This is the hot water system, the sanitary system, and the vent system for plumbing. But then there's also the air terminals, the mechanical ductwork for the return system, mechanical ductwork for the exhaust system, uh, some of the mechanical equipment and everything like that. So when you have these available like this, mechanical piping, mechanical ductwork for the supply system, when you have it set up like this, you can just turn off the system so it's not visible, and it's an easier way to turn things off or change colors than going into these categories under the modeled category and turning off like ducts and stuff, because sometimes it doesn't work too well. But again, to get there, it would be edit visibility here, or if you go to the view tab and edit visibility, and then filters are where those are. At the end, I'll show you how to change the colors for everything for the piping, and then it works the same for ductwork as well. So to start, the first thing that I want to start off with is the fixtures themselves, because you need not special fixtures, but you need the right fixture. Let me see if I can find a view that I'm straight on. Okay, here we go. So this is your regular toilet that Revit has. Now if I click on the toilet, let me delete this for a second. If I click on the toilet, you see how I have the pipe, this icon where I can click the pipe and I can start to create the pipe. And then you have like so on the bottom here is the pipe for the sanitary, and then this is the 1/2-inch pipe for the cold water into the toilet. So, and you can see that coming in like that. So to get those, obviously, if you go to the architecture tab, component, and load family, and then if you go to like plumbing fixtures, if you load into the architectural tab, you won't have that option of the pipes. So what you have to do is anytime you load in a fixture, you want to make sure you click on the MEP side, and then you would go to fixtures, and then urinals. If it was a urinal, or if it's a water closet, which is a regular toilet. These are the different kinds that there are that you can bring in. And then now when you place it, I don't know if it's going to show up. Yeah, I don't think it's, I had, because how I have my views, it won't show. But so like when it's in, that's, now you get the pipe in that you can draw the pipe into. So right now I'm gonna show you how to do that and how to get that to connect in a second. Let me just undo so it's back there, so I can show you how to have it. And this is why I had you bring in the project standards, because all these fit-ins come in automatically when you're designing your system. So that's kind of the to start it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add in some piping. So I'm going to go to pipe. Then again, this is where you can select, sanitary if it's waste or vent, and then water if it's cold or hot water, and then standard would be used for the mechanical refrigerant lines. So I'm going to use PVC for now. So I'm going to do some. Actually, you know what? For now, I'm going to use cold water. So right now for water piping, you're going to notice this right here up on this. So this is right when you select to do piping. You have a slope value. If it's on X, that means the pipe won't slope. If you want it to slope, like if you notice that this line right here is the sanitary line, which has to be sloped because it's gravity fed, and they are sloped. So you would change it to be sloped. You can pick whatever slope that you want it to be, and then when you draw it, so if I draw this straight, like say I draw a piping, it will see how you can kind of see it that it sloped up a little bit, and then if I continue it on, it'll slope it up, and then it adds the fit in to the slope, so it continues to be sloped up. But that was for water. Obviously, water doesn't need to be sloped. Water is flat, so you don't have to. If you're adding your cold or hot water, you want to make sure that, the X is there. And then you see 3D is probably the best way to put piping in because it's easy to see. So when you're on pipe, so this is the level that the pipe is going to come in. So you can pick whatever level that you have. You can choose the diameter of the pipe that you want. I'm going to say it's a 1/2 inch diameter. And then the offset is the offset from the level. So if it's at 0, that means wherever this first floor is, that's exactly where the pipe's going to be at. So if I draw it in, that's right at the first floor. So now if I want to go up, you see how it says add vertical here? If I want to go up, all I got to do is add, say I make this 8 feet, and it will add the vertical automatically. And then, say I wanted to go back down. So this is 8 feet up from the first floor, because the first floor is my level when I started to draw these pipes. So now say I wanted to go back down to a 6-foot height, I can go back down to a 6-foot height, and I can go even this way and draw it, and it'll add the pipe automatically, and it puts in the fittings and everything. And then as I showed in the tutorial G, you can click on a fitting, and I can click here, so it turns it into a T, and then I can right click on this and hit draw pipe, and then continue over that way if I wanted to. And then here there would be one for down. So that's kind of a quick way to start drawing pipes. Obviously, when you're doing hot and cold water, those are typically in the ceilings of the floor that they service. So if it's in the first floor, if it's a cold water pipe servicing the first floor, more than likely it's going to be in the first floor. So from that point, you would probably hit first floor, and then however high your ceiling, the structure in your ceiling where the pipe would be running, maybe you're at 10 feet high. So now this pipe that I'm drawing right here, that starts off 10 feet high above the first floor. And if I rotate, you can kind of see. If it'll let me rotate. So you can see, this is my first floor, and this is 10 feet. My floors were higher, so that's why it's kind of not in the ceiling. But you can see, how it goes. So that's kind of how you can start to draw your lines, kind of like your main lines and where they're going to be running to. And actually, let me go back for a second. Then I showed this in the previous video. But say say like if this pipe needs to, and then once you put a pipe in, you can always change its size. So you can click on it, change its size, and Revit knows to automatically add the reducer that's going to be needed to go from a big pipe down to a small one. And that's again why you bring in the project standards that I've created, because this is all set up and it will work and connect everything right. So it works properly. So you can start to see, how certain things go into each other that way. And then so obviously all the sanitary piping and the vent piping. This is a vent pipe. And then you can see here, as I mentioned in the video, if you have so these are sanitary lines, and you can see for the system type it's on sanitary, and that's important for the filter. And then so for this is, let me pick on this one. This is a portal pipe, but it's domestic cold water. So you want to make sure you're in cold water. So if it's cold water pipe, you want to make sure it's a cold water, because again, for the filter, that's important. I know this is mechanical ductwork. I don't know why it's showing. I have it on hidden. It's supposed to be hidden in the view, but there's like a glitch going on because my file's really big. But I know this is a vent pipe, and it's on the system type for a vent. Again, those are important vents. And then you can see, the whole system itself. These are floor drains. So there's a floor drain that you can find through the plumbing and the MEP folder. You can get a floor drain, and then it gives you the pipe, so you can draw a pipe in. And then these are clean outs. I'll tell you, it's like a floor drain, but it's used as a clean out to clean up the system for the sanitary system. And again, all this pipe is sloping. So obviously, wherever your pipe is going, this is a septic tank system that I have with a leach field. Because for our project, we were in a remote location and we didn't have a sewer system. But this is like the lowest point of the sanitary line, and it slopes. This is the highest point, back up here, and it slopes, and it just keeps sloping down, and everything connects to it, sloping down. So that's how you want to set it up, and then you notice that this slopes down enough so it can connect right into it. So that's something that you want to come off of this first and slope up that way, which can be a little tricky, but that's more of like a in-class thing that I can show you how to get the sanitary when you're underground, because sometimes that can be a pain to get it to work properly, because you gotta come and see how it doesn't come straight in. You always gotta come in as a 45 so it flows properly. So you can see here how it 45s in. So you always gotta draw a pipe that's 45, that 45s out and runs that way. I can maybe show one quickly, later on that point. So that's pretty much it for the basics of the plumbing. Just to kind of how to quickly, again, if you're in a pipe, you can either slope it or not with this. And then this, obviously you can pick a floor that you want to start at, and then you can have the offset height. So, for the pipe that I'm drawing now, it's going to be 6 feet above the first floor. And then if I want to go this way, I can just keep drawing, and this is all 6 feet above the first floor. Now if I have to go up a little bit to get around something, I can say this is going to be 8 feet. Now this is going to be 8 feet above the first floor. It's not 8 feet above the pipe that I just drew. So you can see it only goes up 2 feet. And then I can draw this, any direction that I want. So that's how you can start to draw the main lines and then connect into them. And then again, you can always click on a fit in and add this so it changes the type of the fit in. And then we can draw the extension. So you can split. So maybe I'm coming over this way, I come up, and now I can run this way and that way. So there's certain things that you can do. In the next part, I'm going to actually start to show how to connect into the